Okay, I figured I'd take a closer look at the Homocord Electro's motor. Since I have it apart anyway, I decided, you know what, I'll just go ahead and do it while I have it out. And it's not that hot yet, so I got the governor back in here. I noticed something when I cleaned it. I don't know if you notice it when I spin it around. But this spring is different from these two. Now generally the rule is if you're going to change a governor spring, change all of them so that they are the same strength all around. Same size and all of that. But this was probably done, I don't know, 80 years ago, so I'm not going to worry about it now because it is working. It's working fine, there's nothing wrong with it. And this is a good, this is the oddball spring. It's a little bit different shape to it. You notice, I think this one is original because it comes up, becomes flat where it meets the weight and then down. And that's kind of an unusual shape. You don't see that on other. Usually they're like this. They're nicely curved like that, and that's Victor, that's HMV, that's just about everybody. But the same size springs, so I guess they salvaged one from something else, or two new ones from somewhere, and they made it work. Ingenuity. But judging by the grease that was packed on there, that was a very, very long time ago, so I'm not going to worry about it now. The spring is in good shape. We'll leave it alone. Other thing I noticed, that is an offset governor. Notice it? It's at an angle. Usually they're, like on Swiss motors and all the other, they're straight across. This one's a little bit offset. So I'm guessing if they did, if a Homocord did copy a Swiss motor, they improved it. They did their own improvements. One is right there. You see the nice brass bushings set right into the steel. That's nice. And here's another look at the fiber gear. Still needs a little cleaning yet, but I'm working on that. Notice that there is a ball bearing set right into the top of the shaft, bottom of the shaft rather, right there. Nice big one too. Gear's in very good shape. I just have to gently clean a little bit more dirt off it and it's fine. And in the top, look at this. Beautiful brass bushings they put in there. Look at that one. Attention to detail. You know, when you see that, usually when you see what a company has copied what someone else has done, you know, like the knockoffs are well known for in this country, in the USA, the machine that they're copying is going to be the good, better one, and the copy is going to be, you know, kind of made on the cheap. They cut corners or whatever because they're banging them out as quick as they can before they get caught and sued for patent infringement. But not this one. Beautiful brass bushings in there. They did a really nice job. Heavy cast iron. Really heavy, heavily made, very well made. Made for the ages. There's another one. Look at that. You know, they drilled them individually, I guess. I don't know. They put a brass bushing in there and drilled them according to where they wanted the shafts. It must have been extremely time-consuming and expensive. I've already done the springs. They were no surprises there. While they do look like a double spring setup you'd find in the Swiss motors, that's where the springs themselves look about the same size. That's where the similarities end because they attach differently. Much nicer way they attach instead of just having an eyelet on the end. They're like kind of a bent hook with a shaft, and it's kind of complex actually. So I'm glad the springs are good because I don't think I'd be able to find one in my collection like that. I'd have to have it custom made, and that would be an expensive pain in the neck. But they're excellent condition actually. There's no problems with them at all. So no complaints there. Really nicely made motor. So this is probably what the Swiss should have been making, copied this instead of the other one. Well, maybe the Swiss did copy this. I don't know which one was made first. I don't know. You know, the Swiss motors I know are from about the same time period. The ones that look like this, about the same time period as this one, as this machine was made, which would be, I'm guessing, the late 1920s through the mid 30s. It just has that look to it. You know, like I said, I had very little information on the Homocord, so I don't know. But this motor is excellently well made. Really nice job of it. Love to see that. You know, considering what was made later on and what was being made in this country in the 1930s, you know, basically your RCA throwaways and all of that stuff. Not throwaways, but they were like stamped out and punched out, and forget about brass bushings like this. I mean, just think of what the time involved to do something like this with 1, 2, 3, 4 brass bushings set into the iron and then drilled according to where the shafts needed to be. Because you can see they're off center. They're not just drilled through the center. Then, well, this one is obviously, but that's not drilled. That's for the main shaft. Really nice job. Very, very expensive to do. And you'd never see that now. Forget it. You know, this kind of workmanship disappeared by the end of the 1930s. It was just gone. Everything was, you know, everything was adequate. That's all it was. It wasn't exceptional. This is exceptional. What came after was adequate. It did the job. Yeah, okay. But that's it. You know, the portables that they were making by the 1940s, the era was over. Nobody wanted to spend a lot of money on a portable. RCA tried with their battery-operated, you know, I forget which model it was, with the electric amplification and the big special batteries, and it must have cost a fortune to run those things. But it didn't matter because only the wealthy could afford them. They were really expensive. Most of the portables of that era, basically 5-year, 10-year, occasional use only, and then you threw it away. They didn't expect them to last 100 years. These, they built them as if they expected them to last a century, maybe two. Maybe because the people in that era expected things to be made properly and very nicely. You had to impress them if you wanted them to spend money. They didn't just spend money because they felt like it, you know, or it felt good. They wanted something in value in return. And that's what they got with something like this. Just beautiful work. Is there anything I forgot to show you? No, we covered the governor. And we covered the gears and all that stuff. Nice brass gear too. Really nice. So, if you have an opportunity to snag one of these Homocord Electro portables that looks like this one, I don't recommend the other one. The little subcompact is underpowered. The motor is too small. The spring is tiny. And it just doesn't push through even a slightly worn record. You know, it's not, the design's not that good. The motor's okay, but they should have had a bigger spring in it. But this portable, the one that looks like this one, the one that looks like the 101, whatever model this might be, if you have an opportunity to grab one of these, I would suggest doing it because this is a good machine. Really, really nicely made. And there you go. There's a, what do we got here? Oh, the kitty cat's here to see us. Probably looking for another baby bunny rabbit to eat. Yeah. Cats are good that way. As if the bunny rabbit population needs thinning out, which it doesn't. But there you go. And then we'll have one of it playing eventually when I rebuild the reproducer. Not that it needs to be rebuilt, but I'm going to do it anyway. You know, if you're doing one part of the rebuild, you might as well do everything. So this way it's set for another 25 years or 50 years or however long it's been since it was done.